something was palpably different this time. The atmosphere itself felt charged. The air buzzed with anticipation, a tangible energy that went beyond mere anger. It was a feeling of possibility, of change on the horizon. I'd been to protests before, same tired chants, same predictable faces, the same feeling of hitting a brick wall. But this was undeniably new. The crowd was a wild mix, a vibrant tapestry woven from different threads. Grandmas armed with signs, TikTokers live streaming every moment, college students fueled by idealism, history buffs carrying banners referencing forgotten revolutions. The energy was creative, bursting with joyful expression, and, most of all, palpably hopeful. It was a hope that resonated deep within the soul. The sound wasn't a single monotonous chant. It was a symphony of dissent, a chorus of voices rising in unison. Brass bands blared, DJs spun tracks, people singing and dancing in the streets, a joyous rebellion. This wasn't just a protest, this was a block party with a purpose, a celebration of defiance. The signs were art-witty, sharp, meme-worthy, a reflection of the internet age. Each one told a story, a personal narrative woven into the larger movement. One read, "My ancestors were serfs, I'm just here to finish the job," a darkly humorous take on historical grievances. Another, "I can't even get a text back, but these guys get a castle," a sarcastic jab at the elite. The city's main arteries overflowed with people, a human river flowing towards change. This was no fringe movement. This was a tidal wave. News helicopters struggled to capture the sheer scale of it all, the cameras barely able to contain the masses. Online energy had spilled into the streets, a digital uprising made flesh. Impossible to ignore, a force that demanded to be reckoned with. This was the mainstream, finally finding its collective voice, amplified by the digital age. The old rulebook was out the window, replaced by a spirit of innovation and defiance. This wasn't just about tearing down the monarchy. It was about something far grander. It was about imagining what could come next, building a better future from the ashes of the old. The movement was loud, clear, and impossible to dismiss, a force that could no longer be silenced. The foundations of the old guard were shaking, and the tremors could be felt in every corner of the establishment. A quick history of No Kings. The idea isn't new, it's the latest season of a centuries-old debate. Should our head of state be chosen by birthright in the 21st century? The movement challenges hereditary power, demanding democracy and equality. It's global, inspired by revolutions and fueled by today's social justice movements. The arguments are simple. Leaders should be elected, not born. Monarchies cost taxpayers, and the institution sends the wrong message about privilege. In a world fighting for equality, why accept birth-based rule? It's about the society we want. Merit over inheritance, progress over tradition. The No Kings movement is about building a future where everyone has a voice. This protest felt different, more like a celebration than a funeral. The crowd was staggeringly diverse, united by a single idea. This wasn't a niche issue, it was everywhere: dinner tables, group chats, city streets. Unity didn't mean uniformity. People brought their own reasons and messages. Some focused on cost, others on democracy, others on the environment. It was a coalition of causes, stronger together. No central leader, just organic, decentralized action. Volunteers handed out water, medics set up stations. Everyone looked out for each other. Humor was everywhere. The only crown I acknowledge is Beyoncé's. Meme culture made the movement modern and accessible. The protest was a community in motion, building a better world on the streets. Serious about the cause, but never self-serious. It was clever, defiant, and impossible to ignore. To truly understand the magnitude of the moment, you had to listen to the people, to hear their stories, their hopes, and their frustrations. It was about more than just a single event. It was about a collective yearning for change. Eleanor, a retired teacher. I've paid taxes all my life while palaces get renovated. I'm here for my grandkids, to see a country where the highest office is earned, not inherited. It was a sentiment echoed by many, a desire for a fairer future for generations to come. Jamal, a student, we face climate crisis, debt, and inequality. Why celebrate inherited privilege? We want a country where fairness leads. For Jamal and his peers, the protest was a call for systemic change, a demand for a society that addressed the pressing issues of their time. Chloe, an immigrant, I chose this country for its promise of opportunity. Hereditary rule contradicts that. We want a nation for all, not just one family. Chloe's words resonated with the ideals upon which the nation was supposedly founded, the promise of equality and a fair chance for everyone. Sam, a graphic designer: protest is creative. The monarchy has its brand. We're building a new one. Democracy, the future. Each story was a reason, each sign a statement. The protest wasn't just opposition. It was creation. People weren't just rejecting the old story. They were writing a new one. The crowd was a living gallery of hope and dissent. Generations, backgrounds, and dreams converged. The movement was as much about building as it was about tearing down. It was about a vision for a more vibrant, inclusive country. The creative spirit was everywhere. The protest was a statement, our future, our story. The day belonged to everyone, a testament to the power of collective action and the enduring hope for a better tomorrow. The protest exploded online. #NoKings trended worldwide. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, millions watched the signs, the music, the crowds. User-generated content drowned out the old narrative of angry fringe protesters. News outlets couldn't ignore it. Live coverage and front-page photos followed. The story shifted. This was a generational movement demanding change. Celebrities and influencers amplified the message, reaching new audiences. The cause gained cultural legitimacy and glamour. Solidarity protests popped up globally. The protest became a symbol of questioning old power everywhere. Debates sparked in parliaments and newsrooms worldwide. One day, in the streets started a global conversation. The data tells a compelling story, a story of evolving attitudes and shifting allegiances. Young people, the driving force of tomorrow, are spearheading a seismic shift in how the monarchy is perceived. Their voices are growing louder, demanding change and accountability. A decade ago, during events like the royal wedding, most young adults expressed support for the monarchy, viewing it as a symbol of national pride and tradition. Now, fast forward to today, and only a third of young people express the same sentiment. This represents a significant erosion of support within a crucial demographic. The drop is dramatic, a stark indication of the changing times and the growing disconnect between the monarchy and younger generations. It's a generational cliff, a chasm of differing values and expectations that threatens the long-term stability of the institution. Why is this happening? What are the underlying factors driving this dramatic shift in public opinion? Young people get their news and information from the internet, from a diverse range of sources and perspectives. They are less reliant on traditional, often deferential TV news broadcasts that have historically shaped public perception of the monarchy. They see the monarchy through the lens of memes, viral videos, and social media commentary. They are exposed to critical essays, satirical content, and alternative narratives that challenge the traditional image of the royal family. Gen Z and millennials place a high value on social justice, advocating for a more equitable and inclusive society. They champion equality for all, regardless of background or social status. And they prize authenticity, seeking leaders and institutions that are genuine and transparent. The concepts of inherited privilege and colonial history, deeply intertwined with the monarchy, often clash with their progressive worldview and their commitment to dismantling systems of inequality. To many young people, the monarchy feels like a relic of a bygone era, not a symbol of hope or a reflection of their aspirations for the future. The numbers serve as a stark warning, a call to action for the monarchy to adapt and evolve. Because as older generations with their traditional views gradually fade away, the very foundation of support for the monarchy begins to crumble and erode. Republicanism, once a fringe movement, is now becoming increasingly mainstream, particularly among the youth. The central debate is no longer if the monarchy's future will be questioned and scrutinized, but rather when that questioning will reach a critical mass and force significant change. The tide is turning, inexorably shifting away from unquestioning acceptance. And the establishment, the powers that be, can no longer afford to ignore the growing discontent and the urgent need for reform. The country stands on the edge of profound change, poised for a transformation that will redefine its relationship with its oldest institution. The protest is over, but the energy remains. The monarchy's future is now a mainstream debate. The establishment faces a choice: reform or resist. The movement's next step is turning passion into political action, organizing, educating, building community. Some will push for monarchy light, a slimmed-down royal family, less power, more transparency. Others want abolition, not compromise. The real question is reform enough, or is it time for real change? The protest didn't answer everything, but it forced the question, what is the purpose of a crown in 2025? Now, the nation must decide, tradition or democracy, inheritance or merit. The tide is turning. Where it leads is up to all of us.